Yo, Beck Power here from nomadfly.me. I'm just here with another tip. It's a pretty cool one. I've been looking up flights on Google Flights, which you'll see here. This is what Google Flights looks like. I'm using their multi-city search tool. So you can see at the top. I do not like the multi-city search tool. I think it's crap, and here's why. So if you're searching for flights from Bangkok to New York, which is, imagine, a fairly common route, and let's say you want to stop in Amsterdam or whatever, somewhere in Europe for a month or two. So I've put arbitrary November and January dates. So if you want to do that, obviously it's a one-way trip, but you can't search with a stopover just with a one-way if you search for a one-way. So we're using multi-city. What that means is that there's two segments to this ticket. So you're making one purchase for both the tickets on this date. So that means they're both going to be ticketed with one ticket number. So two segments on one ticket. And actually, if you've looked at other search engines like Momondo or Skyscanner, has that function too. What's another one? Kayak, Hipmunk, there's a lot of them. You'll see that they all have these options: round trip, one way, or multi-city. Those are the options. And the reason I think that's dumb is because you are now locked into an airline that flies those routes, those exact segments. Any different airlines that don't ticket together, you won't see those options. So you're pretty much locked into anything. Like it says here, Alitalia and Etihad have a deal together. So, I mean, it's not a very good one, as you can see. Lufthansa, KLM, these are the options that we're getting. So pretty much the only options that Google's giving us are options that where two airlines ticket together or whenever this route is available, this exact route. So you can see the price is $1,470 for those two flights. So I'm going to show you how we can save 75 or 70 or 75% off of that. So if we go to Skyscanner, that happens to be the tool that I usually use. And you can see here, if you split up the flights, which is my main strategy, splitting up the flights, one flight from Bangkok to Amsterdam and then a whole separate ticket, which you pay for separately, and do a separate search for from Amsterdam to New York. So here you can see that a flight from, and the dates are pretty arbitrary, but it's the same month. So you can see the flights here are between $200 and $300 mostly. So let's call that at $200 or $300, and then we do the same search which I just did earlier here, and it's the same thing. It's about $250 to $300 average. So I mean, let's call that $500, $550 for both flights. So at the moment we're saving around 66% approximately of what the original flight cost with Google Flights. So if you want to do that, that's obviously going to save you a lot of money, but there's another tip I have that can save you even more. Now this one most people don't know about, and it's really only the people who are in my group of Nomad Fly who know about these kind of deals that I'm about to show you. So what I'll do, there's no reason that you should know this either. Like, it's really just random knowledge that I learned as a travel agent. So you can see here, I've searched from Bangkok to Amsterdam because I want to go to Amsterdam, right? But if you go to Oslo instead, you can see, I haven't checked this for a few days, so let's see if I'm right. It should be cheaper than $200. Cool, $159 throughout the month of November, Bangkok to Oslo. Averagely it's about the same. Okay, that's fine. It was a little cheaper a couple weeks ago, but that's okay. So we've got Bangkok to Oslo. Let's keep it at $200. This is all stuff that you can check. There's no way that I would always know what was cheaper because prices obviously change all the time. And right now it's nearly August, so obviously prices are going up for November and December this year. So let's go over to here again and go, instead of from Amsterdam, New York, we'll say from Oslo to New York. And this is just an example to see, because actually that Amsterdam deal was pretty good. So let's search for those. Oh, this is for, I gotta make this January, hold on a minute. That last segment, Oslo to New York, should be for January. So 190, 171, 159. Do you have anything lower than 159? 158, 142. 142, that's such a bargain. So if we add the 142 to the approximate $200 from before, that's less than $350. So if we go back to our Google Flight, which was our initial search, that's much less than this, right? And now we still have to get a cheap flight from Oslo to go to Amsterdam or wherever we want to go. But flights in Europe are pretty cheap generally, and I mean you can safely say that it will be less than $100 for those extra flights. So we're still looking at less than $450, which is still it's less than, you're still saving over $1,000 off of those initial flights. So it's a pretty good tip, and this is how segments work. So almost my whole strategy is based on breaking up these kind of segments that people are ticketing them together, which is a huge mistake. I think the multi-city thing is total crap, and I think that if you can, you should always split your flights up and see how it works. And often there'll be a cheaper like a gateway to fly into on that continent, and there'll be especially in Europe, actually mainly in Europe. It's really cheap to fly between cities, so if you can fly into another place and then get a cheap flight out of there, you get to see a new place, and you might want to stay a couple of nights there. I usually do, to check it out. And then you'll save $1,000, and I'm sure that you can think of lots more things that you'd rather spend $1,000 on than giving it to an airline. So that is it from me. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, just shoot me an email at beck@nomadfly.me. Catch you later.